Alright, so these three guys go up to heaven at the same exact time, and St. Peter is there, and he says, we got a backlog of people right now, and we can't take everyone in. So what we're going to do, we're going to hear your story, and if I feel bad for you, if you really don't deserve to be here, I'm going to send you back down to earth. So the first guy steps up, and St. Peter says, what happened to you? He goes, well, I came home from work early because my wife, I kind of thought she was sleeping with someone else. And I got to my apartment on the 25th floor, and I went in, and my wife was in bed, and so I knew that something was going on. And I couldn't find anyone in my apartment. And finally, I went out to the balcony on the 25th floor, and there's a guy hanging off the railing on the 25th floor, and I figured that's the guy. So I started banging on his hands, and he wouldn't let go. I went back into my toolbox, got a hammer, and started banging on his hands with the hammer, and finally the guy falls. He goes 25 stories, and I look down, and he's still alive. So I was really seeing red, really mad. I went back in to the kitchen, I grabbed the refrigerator, dragged it onto the balcony, pushed it over, smack, got the guy. And I just felt, finally once I calmed down, I felt so bad that I had a heart attack and died on the spot, and I feel really bad about what happened. And St. Peter says, well, you got a little enraged, a little out of line, but I understand, you died of a broken heart, you feel awful about it, you can go back down to earth. And so he did. And then the second guy says, St. Peter says to him, how come you're here? And he says, well, I was doing my, my normal afternoon exercises on the 26th floor on my balcony, and I'm doing the normal stuff I always do, and for whatever reason today, I slipped and fell over the railing, but luckily grabbed onto another railing on the 25th floor and was hanging there. And as I'm hanging there, some crazy guy comes out of nowhere, out onto the balcony, and starts banging on my hands. And I hung on as tight as I could, and I'm like, hey, you gotta save me, you gotta help me. And so this guy goes back in, comes out with a hammer, bangs on my hands. I couldn't hold on any longer, and I fell to what was certainly my death. And then when I landed on the ground, in a bunch of bushes, I look up, and this giant refrigerator falls on my head. And so St. Peter says, okay, that's just ridiculous. You have no reason to be here. You can go back to earth. And he says, the third guy, you're here too. What happened to you? And he goes, so I'm hiding in this refrigerator. The end.